right, hey everybody. Welcome back to Screen Heroes. This is episode 118. I am Derek, one of your regular weekly hosts. I have my other two lovely hosts with me, Ryan.
Hello.
And Ray.
Hi.
And it's just the three of us. No guests this week. We're just going to be talking amongst ourselves. And we're going to be covering some news, movie and TV news, before diving into our main topic, which is properties we want them to adapt into film next. So that could be anything from, of course, comic books like we've seen, video games, novels, anything.
Anything. I've got a weird one on mine.
Okay. So we each were supposed to bring 5 to the table.
Oh, I didn't know there was a number. But I went way more than that, so I think
You always do, so I wasn't really worried. But yeah, so we're excited to talk about that. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. But first, news. What do we got?
Well, Rhode Island is neither a road nor an island. Talk amongst yourselves.
Peanuts are neither a pea nor a nut. Talk amongst yourselves.
Ray Fiennes is not
Okay, we're
neither
good. We're
Rafe
good.
nor Fiennes.
Okay. Shazam Gate 2018. No
Nothing.
news.
Nothing happened.
Nothing happened this week. Come on, Zachary Levi, you're letting us down.
They did reveal, they tweeted all 3 of the logos out that they have for the next 3 DC movies. So
Yeah.
Aquaman, Shazam, and then Wonder Woman 2, which was kind of cool seeing them all together. But other than that, Wonder Woman 2 is going to be set specifically in 1984. No idea if they're trying to reference the book or not.
Well, I think I know why they're setting it in 1984.
What is that?
If you go back to Wonder Woman's lore and just in general American history, I was born in 1984.
Whoa, dude.
So I feel like that's probably going to play a big part.
There was an issue dedicated to your birth.
Yeah, exactly. A full issue.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's pretty rare.
There was a whole arc, but, you know.
You get taken to Themyscira.
Yeah, it's a weird situation, but as a baby, I couldn't really appreciate where I was, but,
of course.
you know. Yeah, so I have a feeling that's exactly why.
I think that's a great storyline.
There is another thing about Wonder Woman 2. There's a rumor that I just read about, like, less than 5 minutes ago, that Zack Snyder is rumored to be on set, like, helping with set design and things like that, which is interesting.
He's still a producer on the project.
Yeah. Well, I think he's, like, just...
Gal
he
really likes them.
owns part of the DC Entertainment at this point. Like, I feel like that was part of his contract, so... Or to be a producer on X number of films.
Yeah, maybe there's a contractual thing, but he is officially a producer on Wonder Woman 2. He was also a producer on Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
So.
And Justice League, and a director of Justice League.
Well,
and it's...
Another rumor for Wonder Woman is Dr. Fate might show up.
That'd be cool.
That'd be so cool. I love Dr. Fate. Underused character.
Yeah. Very small role. Obviously, he doesn't have very much to do with Diana, but Felix Faust and Dr. Fate have fought multiple times. Felix Faust is a huge villain for Wonder Woman, so maybe there's a connection. Either way, Dr. Fate can go into multiple directions. They could be setting up for Justice Society. They could be setting up for Justice League Dark.
Especially because right now Wonder Woman is working with the Justice League Dark in the comic books. So, I mean, that's... And Felix Faust is an enemy a lot of the time of the Justice League Dark. So... You know, that's a lot of ways they could go that route. That's where my hope is, personally, but
I think Justice League Dark would be more interesting than a Justice Society movie, to be honest. But
they've already done the Justice Society somewhat on the TV side. I mean, the old Justice Society.
There's part of me that wants to see the nostalgia. Like, imagine if they did a Justice Society movie in the same way they did Pleasantville. Like, it would just be fun for me.
Pleasantville was terrible.
Pleasantville was fun.
No,
it wasn't a great movie.
It was terrible.
I like what they did from a visual standpoint for Pleasantville. I like
that they made it black and white.
I like how the color is played.
You're colorblind. I want to make sure that everybody knows this.
I can see color. I just see it differently than you do.
You see black and white. I want everybody to know
Look,
this.
you have a red cup, a blue cup over here for Ray, and I have a green one.
We planned this. That's how we know that.
You know.
We're all marked.
There's a new Addams Family cartoon animated film coming out next year. I'm a little disappointed because the voice cast matches the character so well that I think it should be live action.
I think it's a little late for that since they're releasing from
yeah,
that would be sweet.
Oscar Isaac
I'd love to
as
see another live
Gomez.
perfect. It's so good.
He would be great in a live act. Like that would be perfect casting, yeah.
When they announced his casting, he was, I think, the first one that they announced, and I was like, oh man, that's going to be amazing. And they're like, and it's animated. I was like, oh.
I don't understand why they would do that, but...
I mean, they...
Make it appeal to kids more?
It can appeal to kids more, but there's also more flexibility from a special effects budget, because you can draw in CGI more or less whatever you want, versus, doing a live thing and you have CGI.
But they've done it multiple times already.
Yeah. But those are older movies now, and they wouldn't do it like that anymore.
No, those movies still hold up.
Yeah. It's all practical effects, a lot of it.
But that's not how they would do it today.
No.
That's just not how movies are made anymore, which is unfortunate, because I love the original Addams Family.
It doesn't... the 1960s show is a lot of fun. Just a ton of fun to watch. And maybe that's what they're going back to.
I don't know.
Because it was family friendly. It's not like they would show non-family friendly stuff on cable or on basic television.
I was more of a Munsters fan.
Munsters was great.
I watched
the
Munsters.
dragon that lived in the basement.
Munsters was great.
So, 6 years ago, they came up with a reboot of it called Mockingbird Lane, which is where they lived. Eddie Izzard was the grandpa, and Portia de Rossi was Lily, and it worked. It was so good, but they didn't pick up the pilot, which was sad because I loved it.
It was sad. But yeah, so that's happening. That's cool.
Yeah.
Jared Leto is doing a Joker film, which is apparently it's the second Joker film that's in development, because there's also still the one with...
rumored Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix.
So here's the thing. I've seen these articles too. Is Warner Brothers confirming this, or are...
Warner Brothers confirmed the Jared Leto one an hour ago.
Yeah. Okay, so Warner Brothers has said it's happening.
But there's no script or anything like that. The kind of Joaquin Phoenix one is much further in development, I think, at this point.
And Martin Scorsese and Joaquin Phoenix are still attached to that one.
I feel like those two things can't both be true.
Oh yeah, we're on board with you. We think it's just as bananas.
Well, I'm not. I actually think that
it would be too confusing.
They can't be true, right? They're not making two standalone Joker films at the same time. I don't believe.
And no Batman films, right? I just confirmed.
It would be weird, but it's not happening. I don't think that that's what's happening. I think somebody who's reporting this has their wires crossed or is misspeaking, and reporters
or they're lying on purpose.
I mean, sure.
It's the Joker. It's all about craziness, right?
I mean, it works with Avengers. They misdirected so many times to avoid spoilers that, maybe that's just what DC's doing. They're going to release a bunch of fake press releases just to get people off their back.
Or, now stick with me here,
okay.
DC has no idea what the fuck they're doing. And they're like, you know what our fans have said they want more than anything? More Jared Leto as Joker, right? And I didn't hate him as much as everybody else did as Joker.
I hated his look, not his attitude. His attitude was fine. I'm
but
not
I don't
a
think
fan
he deserves
of Hot Topic Joker.
Yeah, I don't think he deserves his own movie. They're saying they want to expand the Suicide Squad universe. It's like, but why?
Why?
I mean, if you want to do the Harley,
Harley
siren, the sirens, Gotham City Sirens, and all that, and you want to call that an expansion on the Suicide Squad,
you want to bring back fine. Boomerang because he was a tolerable side character in the second one.
Bring back Slipknot.
The character that was designed just to die.
Yeah, but you don't even get to see his powers. They show everybody else's intro with their powers, and then he just shows up, starts climbing, and dies.
He's a man who can climb anything, scale any wall.
What is that?
Shut up, Mr. Exposition.
Anyway, but here's the thing,
it just Rick Flag.
It makes no sense, right? There's no way that they're developing two at the same time. Now maybe they're allowing two scripts to be pitched. And they've agreed that one actor will do this one and one actor will do this one. They're going to pick one, which is still weird, but makes more sense than them actually doing two.
I think the Jared Leto thing makes more sense just because Jared Leto was so verbally angry with the treatment of the Joker in Suicide Squad. And all of us have talked about Suicide Squad so much. None of us thought he really belonged in there. Mm-hmm. He was just superfluous to an already overstuffed film. Or why have Enchantress be the bad guy when Joker could have been the one big bad.
I don't think any of us wanted Joker to be the big bad guy just because he's been the bad guy in multiple movies already.
Many.
That's the thing, right? So at this point, we have had 4 official live-action interpretations of the Joker, right? If you don't count Jerome on Gotham, because they keep going back and forth on whether he's actually the Joker or not.
Oh, well, he is now.
Actually,
they're not only... I don't think there's like a legal issue with WB. You know how like Arrow can't use Batman? Or, it's like that where they said you can't actually have the Joker. So they're just like dancing around it. That's why they're doing it in the Gotham.
Right. So if we take him out of the picture for a moment, we've had 4 official Joker versions in live action. And Jared Leto is probably number 4 on my list,
I love Romero.
I mean, for the Adam West show, he fit in perfectly for what that tone was supposed to be.
I stand by a man that refuses to shave.
Fair enough. I mean, that's
you have good friends on this cast.
Harry.
Yeah. For those who don't know, Caesar actually he refused to shave his mustache, and they had to paint the makeup over his mustache in the Adam West version of Batman. And you may not have been able to tell in the '60s. I can't say, but you can definitely tell now.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So like, he was fine.
I honestly think that I think logic would tell me that you're correct. But I think that based on the way Warner Brothers has handled the DC properties this far, it probably is as stupid as it seems, and they're legitimately like have these things happening. I hope not. I just think that DC is I keep saying DC, but Warner Brothers, because it's not
Brothers.
DC. It's Warner Brothers with DC properties.
DC is killing it with the comics. The comics are much better than Marvel's right now, so. Keep doing that. Keep making stories for us to adapt. But Warner Brothers I feel like Warner Brothers sits in a meeting, holds up all the characters they legally own, and just throws a piece of chewed up gum at them. They're like, that's what we're doing. Release the press statement.
Yeah,
That's
and then the gum hit Joker twice. And they're like, oh yeah, we're doing 2 Jokers.
It's 2 flavors of gum, so 2 different actors.
Like, I hope I'm wrong, but I legitimately think that it's totally possible, based on what we've seen so far from Warner Brothers, that they would do that.
I mean, we're also at the point now where they're talking about how Ben Affleck's still going to be Batman, and he's getting back into his Batman shape, and...
Well, right after Suicide Squad, they were like, we love Harley, we're giving her 3 movies right now!
And then we never saw her again.
And then Joss Whedon left the Batgirl movie, and, all these other things keep happening. Yeah.
It's confusing, so I guess we'll just kind of have to wait and see. I will say this now.
We'll find more next month when Comic-Con happens, I'm sure. San Diego. I mean, they'll announce a lot of stuff there.
I'm just going to say it. They're not developing 2 standalone Joker films.
Okay. I believe you.
I just don't think that's happening.
You think Martin Scorsese's going to direct his first animation film?
There you go. That's the big twist. Yeah, Scorsese's going to join the DCEU and do an animated Joker film. Yes. And that's how you'll get 2 Joker
I'm sure that's
movies.
going to happen.
It's actually just animated Departed.
All right. What else we got? We got Avengers.
Yeah, some leaked
Concept
promo
art.
art. I don't even know if it's leaked or not. They probably released it on purpose.
Well, I saw that it was concept art, not promo art.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, concept. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
Because there's a difference.
That's true.
Yeah.
I do think it's a legitimate Marvel. I don't know if it was actually, like, we don't know if it's leaked or not, but it does look legitimate.
It does.
For the same reason that, like, the Solo leaks of, like, the Millennium Falcon and stuff showed a different Millennium Falcon than the old Millennium Falcon. If it was a fan-made poster, it would have the same as the Millennium Falcon we already know. Whereas this one you have like the Hulk in a shirt, right?
In a full suit.
Yeah, what fan would just randomly add that?
It's weird though, because like Cap doesn't have his beard anymore, and Black Widow
got dusted
back to her normal hair. Like
the dye job got dusted.
Right? Like it's weird, isn't it?
It's a little odd which characters they put in there. There's still 2 up in the air. Okoye, who we did see left alive, not dust, at the end of Avengers 4, who very well could stay in Wakanda and protect Wakanda. Who knows? But I figure she's prime for joining the Avengers and helping out. And then Wasp. Wasp is still kind of up in the air as well. And maybe at the end of this film we see that she was dusted too. We don't know.
I'm pretty sure.
Maybe
They would have had her in the trailer.
She's trapped in the quantum realm.
I'm betting that either like halfway through the Ant-Man movie that she gets dusted, or like towards the end she gets dusted. But I feel like, plus Evangeline Lilly has actually come out and said she doesn't have a big part in Avengers 4. So that pretty much tells you right there that she's dusted and comes back at the end.
Look, I'll tell you this. If they actually cross over Ant-Man and the Wasp with the end of Avengers Infinity War and have people dying off, that would be very impressive.
I agree.
So Ant-Man would be like the only of the new Avengers to survive the dusting, right? If he survives, I mean, we know he survives because we know he plays a big role in the next movie. But War Machine's been there since Iron Man 1.
Yeah, he's been there longer than anybody.
He has, but he was also part of the
like,
new group that in Avengers 2 was training. So
yeah, that's true. I guess I was just more referring to ones that came in like joined later
in Phase 2 and later.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Okay. Not OG.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an interesting point.
I mean, Okoye's still alive.
But on that promo art, I think Ant-Man is the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is an interesting point. I had not considered that.
Raccoon and Nebula are in that promo art.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's true. And Guardians was Phase 2, right? So.
Yeah, Guardians was Phase 2.
But
Ant-Man was like the last movie of Phase 2, and it was after the Avengers.
Which is so weird.
Age of Ultron. So it was close enough to Phase 3 for me that I would almost consider that a Phase 3
I'm
movie.
sure most people assume it's a Phase 3 movie just because of that. So
yeah.
So anything else you guys want to cover from a news perspective?
No, I think that's good. We can move on.
All right. So our adaptations. For those who are joining a little late here, if you're watching it live, I'll just kind of reiterate. We're going to be pitching 5 things that we want to see adapted into film. These things could be literally anything. Of course, comic books, video games, novels, short stories, what have you. So,
could it be TV shows adapted into movies?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. So we're supposed to bring 5 to the table.
Yes.
And if we have more and we have time, then we'll absolutely talk about those too. They can be honorable mentions, So Ryan, you get to start us off.
I'll start us off.
Okay.
That's fine.
Thank you, Rachel.
You're welcome.
Then we're going to go counterclockwise.
This was my idea.
Why does Derek want to go last every time?
Because he has little faith in his.
He thinks it's a position of power, probably.
So I was upstairs typing notes, just finishing mine up, and he was like, oh, you did more than me.
But isn't that every time there's prep? Like, Derek has a lot on his plate. I'm not trying to diminish that, but he seems to do the least amount of prep for these of the 3 of us.
I get the box office numbers when we do
But nobody
reviews.
cares about that,
Right.
so you're the only one that cares about that.
I do it for you.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, I might double check the numbers just to be sure.
All right.
Wow.
I get it off the same damn website. I don't know how you're going to double check. Okay, so I'm going to go with something that's already been adapted, and it sucks so bad I want it to be adapted again.
A Wrinkle in Time.
No, I don't really care. It's Avatar: The Last
isn't
Airbender.
James Cameron doing 3 more of those?
I feel like you've had this prepared because you knew I was going to say that. No, he is not. That's going to fall through. I'm pretty damn
Those
sure.
are Fern Gully sequels
that
he's doing.
Wait, is it going to be in 3D?
God, I hope not.
It's Fern Gully.
So this movie by M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong was terrible. It was absolutely awful. But it's one of the most brilliant shows I've ever watched. It's family friendly. It's very representative of different financial backgrounds, different education backgrounds, different ethnicities, different sexual orientations. Like, it's for kids, but it's so much for adults, and I feel like this would do it's begging for a live screen adaptation with real martial artists, people that actually helped out on the show being involved and coming together to create a live action fantastical show. I think it would be best as like a Game of Thrones, but maybe on ABC. And
I have several of mine that when I was thinking of it was like, I'm thinking like Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So.
Game of Thrones is pretty spectacular. There's 10 episodes a season. They take a full year to shoot. They hire hundreds of actors from different backgrounds. And that's what these large scale fantasies need, especially things that are not dystopian, where they have the full world fleshed out and it's not just Will Smith and a dog alone in the world. It's these characters and societies coming together or at war with each other, things like that. And this is very much that situation. It could use a decent background actor who gets a line here or two and then shows up next season and all of a sudden matters so much more. So I think it would do best there. If they were to adapt it to a movie series, I think it should be, for every season, there are 3 seasons, it should be 2 movies. And
it's a big franchise.
It's a huge franchise.
Yeah.
Absolutely
What
huge.
would you think about if they just did a completely different story than the TV show, and it wasn't based on the seasons of the TV show at all? It was just like its own thing. They came up with new stories and didn't base it off what was already out there.
Is Aang still the last Airbender?
I don't know the names of any of the characters. I'm just trying to make delightful conversation. Thanks for ruining everything.
So, Avatar: The Last Airbender is about Aang, the last Airbender.
The world of Avatar, though, is much greater. They have other stories within the world, so I would be okay with that if it was a continuation instead of...
What if it was a prequel?
I'd be even better with that. Some of the characters that they bring up prior to Aang, just in flashbacks.
What if it was Wang, his great-great-grandfather?
Stop it.
So, I mean, I guess you could show the war when the Fire Nation attacked.
No, make it the Fire Gang.
Oh my
right?
God,
Stick with
this
me
is
here
awful.
and do a crossover with Jim Henson's Fire Gang.
Oh my God.
Right? I'm just spitballing here, but I think we've got $1 million franchise.
No, so I loved this show. This show was wonderful, and I would like to see something bigger in that universe. But I don't want them to stray from the Avatar, because that's kind of that's the title of the show, right? So the Avatar is the one who can master all of the elements, and that's a really cool thing. And Aang has his story because there's no one really around to teach him what to do, and maybe it would be cool to see the way it was meant to be before everything fell apart.
Well, they show that each Avatar has come in contact with a world-ending calamity, and
It's true.
so if they were to adapt Roku's story or Kyoshi's story, it would be just as interesting as if they showed me Aang's story again.
That's a good point.
Roku and Kyoshi would be fine standalone films by themselves. Aang's, I feel like they need to spread out and do in a 6-movie deal, or in 3 or 4 seasons in 12, 13 episodes apiece on something.
Yeah, I feel like you would need a premium service like an HBO to afford it.
To afford it, yes, but it is still... I want it to remain accessible for all ages. I don't want them to age up things and mature it up, because I feel like they still deal with situations that's very mature in a, I guess, logical way.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. I think it would be really cool. It is interesting because most of the premium channels are very adult.
They are.
Yeah, I was trying to think of one that would be a good home for.
It feels like if you get put on Starz or Showtime or HBO, it's because you intend to show boobs and Wang at some point, and
That's not really necessary to the Avatar universe, I would think.
Absolutely not.
No,
Maybe
but
they could go on CBS All Access. I'm just
well. So here's the thing.
spitballing here.
That thought crossed my mind, and then I remembered that Star Trek Discovery shows Klingon nudity.
Just because they can doesn't mean they have to.
No, but my point was just that all of these premium services have more adult content than what would be on regular cable.
But
which is kind of
Netflix would be
interesting.
fine. Netflix adapts things for all ages as well. So
Netflix would be cool.
if Netflix had the budget for
And
it.
Netflix, we didn't talk about it, is now the largest entertainment provider in the world, just past Disney. So it's a pretty big deal. But anyway, yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to bring up that new point, but it was interesting that happened this week.
I'm pretty much, done with my pitch. So
Awesome.
somebody else can go.
What's up, Rai Rai?
Okay, I want to preface this by saying that some people may not, because I do a movie podcast every week, some people may not know, I'm a huge video game fan, always have been my whole life. So like 90% of my stuff is based on video games.
That's fine.
So I'm sorry.
In fact, you can find Ryan on Gamer Heroes this week.
That's right. I am on Gamer Heroes. I talked a lot, but that's because I don't get to talk about video games very much, so I really like to take advantage of it when I do. And I get to tonight, so yeah,
Let's
2
do
days in a
this.
row. Yeah. Okay. So I have to decide which way I want to go. I'm going to leave that one out because I bet Derek's going to pull that one. Okay, I'm going to go with Castlevania.
Yeah.
So they did do a Netflix show. It was 4 episodes.
So good.
Season 2 is supposed to hit this year, though.
Sure. I think that they should do something that was a little more traditional Castlevania. Go back to Simon Belmont. Go back to the roots of Simon Belmont, you know, killing Dracula and killing these monsters and be like Conan the Barbarian style, or even like Game of Thrones in the stylistic aspect, maybe not the nudity. Yeah, I mean, there might be a little bit of Belmont Wang. You know what? If there's Belmont Wang, it happens. You know, they're wearing loincloths and like fur. Things are going to flop out, right?
I'm a little upset that I've seen all these barbarian movies with loincloths that I've never once seen a wang from it.
It's not realistic.
It's not. The wang would be hanging.
For sure. Yeah, they're free balling underneath that thing. But in any case, I would love to see Simon Belmont, you know, just go after Dracula. I want to see him like flinging axes like this for no reason. It doesn't make sense. You don't know where he's pointing the axes from, but you know that he's throwing axes, or like drinking the invisible potion and running around being sneaky barbarian.
I like
and
it.
the whips are. I want to see a live action. Like whips are a really cool weapon in movies, and especially he has like a steel whip that can shoot fire and stuff like that. I don't know. I like magic, obviously, and I like barbarians killing monsters. So I would love to see that. It has some really deep lore. Castlevania does too.
It does. Sorry, we've got
T-Foles.
T-Foles in our Twitch chats having a fun time. Thank you, T-Foles, for that. You can join us live Tuesday nights, by the way. Twitch.tv/Heroes Podcasts. I think this is a fun idea. I mean, I like the anime
I'm on board.
to an extent. Well, it's not really an anime, but it's meant to look like an anime.
Yeah, I think it's an anime.
Yeah, I thought it was.
think so too.
Was it? Okay.
I think it was drawn in Korea, so that makes it an anime.
Okay, I thought it was drawn here to look like an
Avatar
anime.
is
Sorry.
completely written by Americans and drawn in South Korea, so I call it an American anime.
So what's that make Futurama? Because Futurama is Korean as
We're
well.
not talking about Futurama, Derek.
Fine.
My gosh.
They're not on my
At least it's not
I
Star
promise.
Trek.
Oh my god, I'd watch a live action Futurama.
That'd be so creepy.
I'm pretty sure they made a live action porn version.
I believe you. Anyway, no, I think that's really cool.
So what's next on your list?
Well, first on my list.
Or 12th, whatever. I don't care. What are you going to talk about?
Wow. All right.
What are you talking about?
So my first one is a novel that I would like to see adapted into a live action film. I don't think it would work real well as a TV series because I think it could get way too drawn out. But it is Glory Road by Heinlein. And it's basically... It's a very interesting story for those who don't know what it is. It begins as the hero's journey, okay? And our main character, Easy, is basically brought onto this quest by this woman that he happens to meet. And he does all the big hero's journey stuff, right? Very Lord of the Rings-esque. There's quests, and he fights, and he wins the quests, and he's a champion, and everybody loves him. And... that's like the first third of the story. And then you find out, really, it's about what happens after the hero is done, right? And it's about the kind of existential questions that the hero would run into now that his glory days are over, okay? And what that means and the kind of the philosophy behind it. So I like it because it's a twist on the standard hero's journey where you're so used to seeing heroes, you know, they get beat down, but then they believe in themselves and they get back up, and it's Rocky IV, and you know that's what we're used to seeing.
Sounds like Son of Zorn to me.
I mean, I didn't watch that.
Son of Zorn is basically like a barbarian.
Awful.
Oh, it was great. It was a barbarian that like in his heyday was amazing and like a superhero type guy, but then he like has to move to suburbia.
Yeah, no, I'm aware of it because of how ridiculous it looked.
Yeah. I think you would have liked it. But in any case, I'm not trying to...
Yeah.
But it sounds similar. Like,
So, yeah, I mean...
You dealt with similar themes.
Maybe. I'll take your word for it. It's a kind of a serious story, but there's lots of fantasy elements and sci-fi elements to it. So it's just one of those things where I think it's a unique story that could be told in a way that we're just not used to seeing. It takes a story trope that we're used to and kind of turns it on its head and deals with the human aspects of kind of the fallout of that.
Sounds good. I would watch it.
So,
fun fact, when we first got together, when we first started dating, we had a conversation about recommending books for each other. I recommended you American Gods, and you recommended to me Glory Road.
And neither of us have read those yet. To be fair, mine's a lot shorter than the one that you assigned me. I just want to throw that out there. American Gods is like...
thought you could handle big words. I'll take it back.
No. It's not the size of the words. It's the volume of words.
Sure.
It's the motion of the ocean.
Wow.
All right, so my next one is a book as well. It is Firebrand by Marion Zimmer Bradley. She is known for two things. One, great, Miss of Avalon. If you saw that in the 90s, there was a wonderful adaptation with Juliana Margulies. She's also known for another thing, and this is something I have to reconcile because I have issues with the fact that I'm a fan of her work. And she and her ex-husband were pedophiles and abused their daughter and went to jail, and they were terrible people. So it makes me very upset about this. I would hope that if the book is adapted, that money would go to like a charity or something. Or her daughter, because she's no longer alive. So anyway, the story, Firebrand, it's the story of Cassandra. And if you don't know Greek myth, Cassandra is talked about very little. She is one of the princesses of Troy. So she's the sister of Hector, and she becomes a priestess of Apollo, and priestesses of Apollo were supposed to remain virginal, and something happened. She was tricked, and she lost her virginity, and so Apollo curses her with foresight, but nobody would ever believe her. So she sees the fall of Troy, and nobody believes her. And the story is incredibly interesting how it plays out. And the Firebrand, since Greek myth is very rarely told from a female's perspective, this story is from Cassandra's perspective. And instead of, the boy who cried wolf, it's the girl no one believed. And it makes for a very interesting book, and one of my favorites when I was in high school.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not familiar with that at all, so I don't have much to add to it. But that is interesting.
It's just a good Greek myth that's never told. So.
Yeah. What's the lesson we're supposed to learn from Cassandra?
Definitely, if your daughter tells you that your city is going to be sacked, maybe you listen to her.
Then you sack those responsible?
Yeah. Sack those before they can sack you.
Her mistake was probably saying that Brad Pitt was going to be involved, and they're like, no, that's ridiculous.
See, the thing, there's so much left out of the Iliad, which is our only, account of Troy, that we just focus on Achilles and Hector and their fights and the sacking of Troy, but...
Well, and the horse.
Yes, the Trojan horse.
And the giant wall.
Yes.
We all know about the horse, right?
Yes.
Everyone knows the Trojan horse.
And unfortunately, Trojan is just now associated with condoms, so...
And, college teams, I think. There's a college football team or something. Or
yeah, the condoms.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly. Nailed it.
Okay, Ryan, it's your turn.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me look at my list to see what my next video game
Are they all video
pitch is. Honestly, my best ones are video games, so...
I'm laughing at your...
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I was trying to make Monty Python references in there and nobody was getting it, so I figured I'd just do it in chat instead. Okay, so I'm going to go with something a little more modern video game instead of the classics. Horizon Zero Dawn. So if you haven't been alive in the past 2 years, you might not know what it is because it's been very popular.
And this show's probably a little too old for you. You might want to go watch some Sesame Street.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, anyway,
okay.
If you don't know, it's about a post-apocalyptic world where humans are basically now in tribes, similar to how we were before civilization, and around us are robotic dinosaurs and other creatures. Yeah, essentially, which was what drew me into the game because like, okay, you have this primitive technology, but you have very advanced technology on the other end.
Dinobots. Okay.
Stop it. It's Mechadinos.
Are you guys done?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. In any case, it's a really cool parallel between the two, and you're kind of wondering why throughout the game, like why there's these super advanced dinosaurs, but they're using bows and arrows to kill them, or rock slings. But it would be an interesting property to see adapted. I don't think it would be something you'd want to do a TV show. I think it would be a better movie type situation. But the aesthetics of it alone would be very interesting. And the storytelling, if they can keep it somewhat true to the game, would be pretty good. I mean, there's a lot of twists and turns in that game that would translate really well to movies, I think.
Well, I have it sitting upstairs, ready to play.
That will be the story for all the games that I have on my list. Yeah. Derek has them sitting upstairs, and he's never played them.
I pre-ordered Horizon Zero Dawn because I was so excited to play it, and I just have not had an opportunity, which is really sad. It bums me out.
I have not bought Horizon Zero Dawn. I borrowed it from a friend and beat it in like 2 weeks because it was amazing.
Nice.
Yeah, I should probably go buy it and support the game.
You could have borrowed it from me.
Much. I could borrow any game from you because you never play them. So.
I play some. I've been playing the hell out of Roller Coaster Tycoon this weekend.
Oh,
so
boy. That's what Derek's next pitch is, probably. Roller Coaster Tycoon, the movie.
Better than Battleship.
Couldn't be worse. Or the Emoji Movie.
This 30 minutes, we're just going to pick up these people and drop them in the water.
It's going to be a 3-hour-long movie.
All right, so I guess it's my turn then?
It is, Derek. It's your turn.
All right, so my next one is not a novel or anything like that.
Good job.
It is a band.
You're adapting a band.
I'm essentially adapting the persona of the band.
Is it the Aquabats?
No, that's a fun idea, though. No, it's...
Was it the Fire Gang?
No.
Oh, because, I mean, they sing.
That
and dance and pull their heads off.
All right. Who is it?
Coheed and Cambria.
Oh, the Amory Wars.
The Amory Wars. So, for those who don't know, Coheed and Cambria is an alternative rock band that's been around since 2002. They have put out 8 albums that are all kind of connected, starting with the second stage Turbine Blade and basically finishing up with The Year of the Black Rainbow was the 7th album. They had one since then, but that was the loop, the 7-disc loop. But anyway, the Amory Wars are essentially a science fiction galactic war between Coheed and Cambria, and giant jackhammer missile weapons and craziness, and it's very meta. And they had 3 volumes of graphic novels based on their music. The music is the story, and they made the graphic novels based off of the music. So 3 volumes, I think it's like 10 issues a volume. And they've got another one in the works that they're returning to that story. So hopefully that'll be out in the next couple of years. But it's just this giant sci-fi epic, very, intense battles and wars and giant, monsters and things like that, planet destroyers. And I think that you could do it as an updated, live action heavy metal, where the music was the movie, and you had people essentially acting all of that out. And I'm talking more like Heavy Metal 2000, not the first Heavy Metal, which is just an excuse to draw boobs. Heavy Metal 2000 is actually pretty fun. And so just, a giant rock opera where you follow the music through the story as you're watching it.
That would be fun.
My eyes glazed over for about half of that. I'm gonna be honest with you, because I was I don't know anything about. I don't listen to Cook Eating Cambria. I'm not that invested in it. So,
man, favorite House Atlantic was my alarm clock the entire freshman year of college.
My eyes are glazed over again. I don't know what you mean by that.
It's a song title, Ryan.
Okay.
My next thing, I wonder what I should talk about. Well, you just talked about a band, so
I did.
I'm going to talk about a song. I have wanted to adapt this song into something since I first heard it.
Is it Space Oddity?
It is not, although that would be brilliant.
They already did it. It's called Apollo 13.
Good point.
Spiders from Mars.
That would be okay too.
I mean, that's really just Starship Troopers.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Similar political themes too.
Yes, I'm going to keep going.
We were just trying to guess to see how well we knew you,
It's
Rachel.
actually the Mariner's Revenge song by the Decemberists.
Oh, such
hoping it
a
was Dance
good
Magic
freaking
Dance.
song.
So it's 8 minutes, 45 seconds long. It is from the point of a narrator, and it starts off with the narrator and another man being the sole survivors of a whale attack, and they are inside the stomach of a whale, and
How is that possible?
you
Think
not
of
seen
Pinocchio. Like,
Yeah, but that's not real.
neither is this.
It's hurtful.
Okay.
So the narrator recalls the story of how they met and how they actually have known each other in the past, and it's this wonderful story about corruption and betrayal, and I thought it would be really cool to see a live action stage adaptation if there was a musical of it, and the Decemberists come on and write the music, and the whole theme throughout the song is playing throughout the musical. But it would also work really well on screen, because I imagine it would be like a non-musical version of like Sweeney Todd or something, because it's full of murder and mayhem and stuff like that. So it would be dreary and
What kind of whale was it?
I
the
mean,
kind that eats people.
usually it's
I don't
like
think...
usually when you're inside the belly of a whale, it's like a blue whale that didn't mean to eat you.
Right, but a blue whale can't actually eat people because it has a filter in its mouth, so that it can filter out anything bigger than like small particles. So I'm lost in the science aspect of this. Unless we can get to a whale that
Humpback
actually...
whales?
Humpback whales are the same.
Okay.
99% of whales
Have a human
a
filtration
filter that keeps out anything larger
A
than...
killer whale that
I don't think
just...
a killer whale is actually a whale, though. I think it's a shark, technically. But
You
I'm
think
pretty sure that's not
orca?
true.
I don't know. Something because a whale has to have has that weird brine filter or whatever it is. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. Listen, I'm just
Clearly.
trying to figure out if the science is good.
It's not.
Okay, I'm
for
not
this.
watching that. I'm sorry. I got to tune out on it.
Okay.
I can't be a
All
viewer
right.
of this.
Well,
Unless it's a
I love
killer
that
whale, then I
song.
guess I could
I have
buy into
it memorized by heart. I could sing it for you right now. I could sing the background parts and everything. It would be fun. But
It's a great song.
I've always wanted to see it adapted. I think a musical would be hella fun, but if it's not, that's fine too.
Fair enough. That's
Yeah.
good.
Thanks.
Ryan?
Next video game.
All right. I'm going to go with... Well, we were just talking about whales, so I'm going to pick something that has nothing to do with whales. Skyrim. Okay, so
I'm not sure Skyrim is the opposite of whales.
I said it had nothing to do with
But it's
whales. I never
close.
said anything
It's
about
close.
opposite. We could replace the dragons with whales, and it could be the Orca-born instead of the
I
Dragonborn.
love it. The Orca-born.
In any case, there's going to be a lot of debate, between gamers whether Skyrim is the best of the Elder Scrolls game.
I mean, it's not. That's
it's
fine.
not. But it's great.
It was the most popular of all of them.
And I think it'd be the easiest to adapt to a movie. The story of Dragonborn is a very classic hero's tale. And with Game of Thrones popularity right now,
Yeah.
I think that dragons are a pretty hot commodity in the entertainment marketplace.
Not wrong.
So having somebody that can literally speak dragon through shouting might be weird to translate to a screen. They can do it, though. If they can translate some other stupid shit to a screen, they can
Well,
translate
considering what we saw Han Solo do,
that.
I
Yeah.
think this is fine.
Yeah, you're probably right on that.
All right.
But I would rather not change dragons into whales. But if that's what we have to do to get this movie made, then
You're willing to compromise?
I'm
I
willing to
appreciate that.
compromise on that. Yeah. But no, I just think those aesthetics and dragons are, if you do it right, would be a
How
a
many
cool story.
arrow to the knee jokes are there?
I would say none. Otherwise, it turns into X3. I'm the juggernaut, bitch. You know, you don't want to do meme jokes.
Memes.
Well, maybe you don't say that someone took an arrow to the
Maybe
They just get shot.
see
Watch
somebody.
it happen.
That would be okay. We'll allow
I
it.
like that.
We'll allow it, yeah.
No, I think that's a lot of fun. I didn't get into Skyrim all that much because unfortunately I made the mistake of playing it on 360.
That is
Which
a mistake.
was at the end of that generation, on top of the fact that it was also, you know, the console version and not PC. Oblivion, though, the 4, is one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I would be very excited for an Elder Scroll movie.
If they adapted the version of Skyrim that I have on my PC, then all the dragons would come out screaming like Randy Macho Man Savage and have like the beard and the hat, because I have that mod installed.
Of course you do.
So every time they come down, it's like, oh yeah, snap into a Slim Jim! And it kind of takes you out of it, but really it just makes you even more involved in the universe.
That's fair.
Fascinating. That's a good one, though. That's good. I like it. I would be really excited to see an Elder Scroll film.
Even if it wasn't Skyrim, I agree.
It's a lot of content in any one of those games, so maybe something like a Game of Thrones style series would be better, but yeah, either way.
I think if you went with like Morrowind, you could do a Game of Thrones, you know, or like it's more of a TV show format. We keep saying Game of Thrones because it's medieval, you know, kind of styling. But
We compare things to Game of Thrones for quite a few reasons. It's wildly successful. It's probably the most successful live action adaptation on a premium network channel that's ever happened. It is also just incredibly well done. It draws so much talent. So, you know, to continue this with other sagas, with other franchises would be amazing.
And I want to say that I'm way behind. I've just finished season 1 of Game of Thrones.
Oh, wow.
So I'm actually watching it now. So now I see all the hype. I'm into it. I'm all about it. I want to go home and watch another episode tonight. So.
Nice.
I need to catch up. I stopped at the end of season 4. I need to keep watching.
I think at this point I'm 3 episodes into season 2, so.
Nice.
Nice, very cool.
Dragons.
Your turn.
All right, so for my next one, I gotta think through how I want to do
Oh,
this.
gosh. Why didn't you think through ahead of time, Derek?
Well, because I don't want anyone to see what my other stuff
my
is.
God.
Oh my gosh.
All right,
I see a game.
there is a game. But that's not what's next. Next is a comic book.
Oh, I know what this is.
Storyline. What is it?
Year 1.
No.
Batman. Really?
Close, though. I mean, you're really close.
Or 0 year.
There you
0
go.
year. That's what it is.
Well, 'cause year
was
one
there
is
a year
also-
1 Batman?
there was a year
okay,
one,
no,
yeah.
I wasn't wrong with that.
Well, that's crap.
Oh, sorry, I didn't say that. I thought it was stand up.
blocked.
I thought it was stand up.
Just block Rachel. She's not important.
So Batman
Perfect.
0 Year is a story arc from the New 52 that was from mid-2013 to mid-2014, written by Scott Snyder primarily, and Greg Capullo was the artist.
Had a fantastic design for Catwoman in an all-brown suit. It looked great.
I love this run of Batman. I thought that, well, the New 52 had a lot of issues, and I'm very aware of them.
That
was not intended. That was funny. I do this all the time. I loved it. I thought Scott Snyder, his story writing for Batman was phenomenal. It's my favorite run of Batman, and this is my favorite story in that run. It's very kind of apocalyptic, where Gotham is overrun and overgrown, and the Riddler's taken over at times, and the Riddler in this is just really outstanding, very formidable. Batman has to basically go back to his true vigilante roots with very few gadgetry. One of my favorite cells is the Batman I Want to Cosplay, where he's basically on a dirt bike. He's got like cargo combat pants and boots, and the Batman suit's got the sleeves ripped off, and he's still got the cowl on, but it's torn in places. Like, he's had it rough, but he's still
Sounds like the easiest Batman cosplay ever.
Yeah, but you still need the cowl.
That's true. Luckily, I have a hook up on that.
I do. I know a couple of guys.
Give him like a torn up.
He's getting a B grade.
This would be great. Yeah. I wanted it like that. Anyway, so it's just a really intense kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Like
I don't know. I haven't read it.
I know. Sorry, there's a word that's escaping me right now, but it's a brutal story. It's a darker story, but it's rough and aggressive. And it shows some villains in some neat lights. I like this version of the Riddler a lot. I think that he essentially locks down all of Gotham and creates this like arena essentially for Batman, and Batman doesn't have all of his gadgets. One of the things about Batman is that he's got a million gadgets. He's got to bat something for every occasion, and he doesn't have that in this storyline. He doesn't. He has to really do it himself. It's all on his own, and I think it could be a really cool story.
Would be fun. Those are the kind of films that I want to start seeing. I've seen Batman in universe films so many times that I want to see the one-off things that are more interesting at this point, because he's got so much stuff that...
I'm more interested in Elseworld stories for all of the characters rather than the main, like any of the main storylines. I mean, I know this isn't an Elseworlds, but this is different enough to where it could almost be an Elseworlds. You know, it's not like the traditional Batman story, so I would be much more excited about something like that than I am about most other Batman stories.
Well, and it's the Riddler, who we haven't seen since the Jim Carrey Riddler.
Rarely gets good storylines too.
Mm-hmm. And he's written, because he's trying to be, he's not the Joker, but he's very similar to the Joker. Writers have had a hard time differentiating the two, and sometimes make one or the other way too silly. This Joker is incredibly intelligent, really interesting. But yeah, so I think that would be really fun. That's what I want to see, is 0 Year Batman.
Cool.
So,
well, my next pick is an entire book series. There's actually two. There's an original and a sequel series written by Tamora Pierce. Both series are young adult quadrilogies. They were written in the 80s and 90s. The first one is about the first female knight and her struggle to become one. She moves up from page to squire to knight, and she has some struggles in there, but it's a fantasy story that's taken seriously from a female point of view. And right now, the female protagonists are all in this dystopian society where they have to choose between two guys, and it makes zero sense that there's always two dudes involved, and it's nothing like that. So it's a brand new protagonist that we've never seen. The sequel quadrilogy takes place when the knight is in her 30s and 40s. She's married, she has children, she runs the royal army, and it follows a young girl that she's mentoring instead. So you could do the first series book or as a few movies, like 4 movies, and then have the actress age a couple of years, come back and do a sequel series as well, and then you have a very probable and realistic continuation. So that's this right here. I brought this.
Could you block Derek's face with it?
I
we just put it right here on the side.
That'd be perfect.
Yeah.
But it's really, they're fun reads, and I'm currently rereading the series, so I just think it would be interesting.
Nice.
Thanks.
Not much to add since I haven't read it.
No,
So,
I know. I picked things that, appeal to women, and you guys don't like women, so.
I recall loving Avatar and The Decemberists.
It's just a joke.
It's fine.
It's just a joke.
It's hurtful. It's hurtful.
Yourself. My gosh.
What's your next video game?
Let me see. I'm going to actually go with a non-video game.
Whoa!
I mean, I have a lot more video games on my list, but just because you guys keep giving me shit about it,
No.
I'm going to go
really
with
good
one that would not be good, but I think needs to be made.
Okay.
Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash.
Oh.
Okay? It's a comic book series, and it was actually supposed to be a movie. But yeah, it got canceled for some licensing reasons, I think. But the comic book series is one of, I don't read a lot of comic books, but I read that one, and I think I still have all the different variant covers and stuff for it.
Nice.
It's not really that great of a comic book unless you're just a huge fan of Ash in general, because I'm not that big of a fan of Freddy and Jason, any more than any other horror character. But yeah, I think it would be really fun to see on screen. And with the recent retirement of Ash as a character, I realize that it's probably not probable at this point, but
Bruce Campbell retired,
Probably
but nobody
not
else can
probable.
play Ash.
so
So, but I mean, 15 years ago, this would have been a great movie. I would have loved to see adapted. That would have been probably before the comic books came out, but...
Man,
yeah.
I would have loved to have seen this. So I've never read the comics, but I'm aware of the attempt to make the movie, and I actually really enjoy the Freddy vs. Jason movie.
And you can imagine how good it would be if they threw Ash in the mix also.
Right. Because it's just sheer fun. Like, if you don't like Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th films, that's fine, because Freddy vs. Jason is just ridiculous with these two immortal slashers going after each other, with humans getting in the way. So if you replace the generic humans with Ash trying to save the day, I think you actually have an incredible little gem, and it's a shame that they were never able to work that out. It really is.
Yeah, we all need more Ash in our lives, really.
Absolutely. Especially to the people that didn't pirate the series and paid for stars. Thank you.
Hey, I subscribed to Stars for my free month, okay? And then watched it. And then I pirated it for somebody else, but I still...
Wow.
Allegedly.
Part of the problem. Derek?
Sad. All right. Well, in the spirit of balancing things out, my next one is a video game.
It's going to be one of the ones that I know you're going to pick, too, so...
Well, I mean, I don't think it's, particularly obscure or...
Super Mario Odyssey.
No, Super Mario Brothers. Like, I think we need a remake. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. That movie's insane. No, so for me, it is Halo. So Halo is, of course, a big first-person shooter franchise that started in 2001. It's had multiple games. Number 6 is in development right now, supposedly. I'm sure it is. It follows Master Chief, who's a super soldier, and Cortana, his AI, who's constantly trying to stop him from dying.
And constantly changing the way she looks.
As graphics improve.
Yeah,
I mean, he changes how he looks too.
That's true. But she changes pretty drastically.
She does. I'm fine with it.
I'm sure you are.
Hey, look, Cortana is awesome.
So my phone changed the way it looked today.
In your dream Halo movie or TV show or whatever it's going to be, is it going to be like Dredd style? Not like shitty Judge Dredd, but like Dredd, where he has the helmet on all the time.
Yeah, no, I think that if you're ever going to see the man under the helmet, it has to be the final shot in whatever the last movie is.
Is it Sylvester Stallone?
It is not Sylvester Stallone.
Is it Duke Nukem? Have you seen that video? Where finally Master Chief takes off his helmet and it's Duke Nukem?
That's fantastic.
No, it is not going to be
amazing.
Duke Nukem. I think that
I should have had that on my list. Duke Nukem? What a great movie.
Starring John Cena that they're making.
Are they?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I remember rumors about that.
I thought you were kidding.
No, there was a bodybuilder that would have been great. He cosplayed Duke Nukem to promote at E3 one year, and he was amazing. I can't remember his name.
So...
Anyway, sorry.
Halo at the moment has a 5-arc story, but you don't even have to do the 5. You could do the one standalone initial game and have a really solid film and story. You can pare that down enough to make a 2.5-hour film.
Would you rather it be a TV show?
No, I think it should be movies. I don't think there's enough substance to have a TV show. I think that if you wanted to do a trilogy of the first 3 Halo games, you could easily do that. And if you wanted to then, continue spinning it off to 4 and 5, you could. But I don't think there's enough content in a single one of those games to have more than, 6 episodes or 8 episodes of, an hour-long show. I guess you could, but I think it would be unnecessary.
You could do a miniseries.
I mean, you could. And there's been talks about them doing a Halo miniseries with Steven Spielberg for a decade now. I don't think that's ever going to happen. But it would be cool. I would really like to see it. I think it'd be a lot of fun. It would be mostly live action with some CGI, of course, for Cortana and the Flood and the Covenant. But yeah, Halo. Just I wouldn't want them to call it Halo Combat Evolved, because that's not a good title.
That's a dumb name.
That's what the original game was called.
That's stupid.
So it did revolutionize the first-person shooter. So
no wonder Rooster Teeth made fun of it.
Yeah, well, Red vs. Blue is amazing and brilliant, and I love those guys, so.
All right, last round. For my last pick, I'm going to take you all back to the wild days of 2007, when movie studios bought up every comic book property that they could get their hands on. This is back in the day when Wanted and Kick-Ass came out, and they were huge hits at the box office, so they bought up Transmetropolitan and Why the Last Man. And my favorite comic book series of all time, Fables. And all those properties just went right down the garbage.
Did they do anything with them?
No. So Fables was always going to be adapted to a TV show. ABC and NBC both had their hands on it at some point. Something always fell through, probably because there's language and nudity and mature themes in here, and neither of those TV shows or TV studios can really embrace those. So we got Once Upon a Time and Grimm. Terrible TV shows. They're just indulgent crap. And Fables is not. Fables is incredibly well written. It's extravagant. It's embracing of every fairy tale to ever cross the, universe. They incorporate Indian fairy tales and Chinese and not just European. The original story follows a chunk of European fairy tales to come straight to New York after their homeworld is invaded. So there's war and despair and murder and lust, and it's incredibly successful too. The series ran for over, I believe, 200 issues. They had 3 spin-off series. It had 2 standalone graphic novel sequels. It had 1 video game and another sequel to that in development. It's a Telltale game and a standalone novel as well. So it had a lot to work with, and honestly, they could choose any one of those things to adapt, and it would be a ton of fun. I would be on board with it.
That was The Wolf Among Us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was cool. I like that.
Wolf Among Us was the video game.
Mm-hmm. That was like Telltale's first big game.
One of them, yeah. It was that and Batman, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, it was that in Walking Dead.
Oh, yeah.
Batman didn't come till later.
Yeah.
You're right.
Forgot about Walking Dead. No, that's cool. I'd like to see that stuff. The graphic novels look cool. I flipped through them a few times. They're pretty neat. So that'd be fun. Mm-hmm. All right, Ryan.
My last one.
Your last one.
Okay. This one's already been, it was a TV show.
Okay.
And it's going to be another TV show, but not in the way that I want it done.
Okay.
Thundercats.
Oh!
But I want it to be in a real live action with ridiculous, huge muscular people as the Thundercats.
Like American Gladiators?
Yes. Get the American Gladiators. Derek is onto something. Or like wrestlers. They can all be played by wrestlers. I don't even care if the acting is good, right? I just want to see some Thundercats beating up Mum-Ra and
Eye of Thundera.
So yeah, I want to see the live action, Thundercats.
Oh, you want some
yes.
buff-looking dudes to say line for line cartoon.
I just wanted to do the intro. All they have to do is a 1.5 minute long movie, right? I'll pay my $9 and go watch the intro, and I'm good. That's it. That's all I need.
I think that's fair. I'd
honestly,
also pay $9.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm on board.
The studio could save so much money. All they need is a budget of I don't know, 100,000 maybe, and they'll make that back.
I will body paint The Rock for free.
There you go.
I got this.
Yeah, I'm in.
Who would he be?
The Rock is Panthro, clearly. No, The Rock's Lion-O, Vin Diesel's Panthro, and the two of them can get over their feud. I don't
know if I could do the Rock as Lion-O.
I like Vin Diesel as Panthro.
Yeah, that's good casting.
I like that.
That is good casting.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Just imagine him from Pitch Black.
But who's going to play Snarf?
Snarf? Well, clearly you are.
Well, yes! Now I'm really in. Man.
You gotta get someone like Josh Gad or something to play Snarf.
Oh my god, that's so perfect.
That would be pretty good.
I fucking hate how perfect that is.
So we've been doing these fan casting things. We're getting better as off the cuff.
Well, Thundercats, I believe, was our first fan cast that we ever did.
Yeah,
so maybe
remember.
we should revisit this.
Maybe we should go over it. I don't remember what I did at all for that.
Yeah, but we're just pitching for a minute and a half long intro.
Who would John Cena be in Thundercats? Because Midnight Pearl wants to know.
Mum-Ra.
I like it.
Yeah?
I like it.
Yeah, we cover him so we don't have to see any of his actual face. We just cover him in like CG and rags. And you can just tell that he's a muscular dude underneath. For some reason, even though he's a mummy and he's supposed to be withered away. We don't understand why, but...
Well, it's like Skeletor.
No, because Skeletor was a legitimately buff dude that got acid thrown on him and melted his face down to the bone.
True.
Yeah, but like...
Mum-Ra is just like a mummy.
Well, who at some point was just really fit.
I guess. It doesn't really make sense.
Everybody in the 80s on cartoons was really fit.
I mean, Eternia, like, you just got big muscles. That was part of growing up.
It's true.
Well, then there's your answer,
Unless you were Adora.
Yeah.
He got really giant tits.
It went a little bit odd with the women, but, the theory stands with any man in Eternia, but...
All right. My last one, because we're way over time now.
We took that break. It's fine.
Which was like a minute.
We're fine. Let's go.
All right. So for my last one, we are going to be talking about a book. The book is Red Shirts by John Scalzi. Red Shirts is a fun book. It's incredibly meta and tongue-in-cheek, and the whole idea is to play on the tropes of the generic sci-fi adventure show like Star Trek. The idea being that there are all of these tropes that are in episodes on a regular basis, and what ends up happening with these characters, you're following these ensigns, and you learn that there's all of these patterns on the ship, that if you go on an away mission with this person, you're always going to die, but they'll be fine. Or if you go with this person, you're always going to be captured or saved or whatever. And things start getting really complicated and confusing, and the characters become self-aware and realize that they're characters on a TV show. And they want to stop the writers from torturing them, is basically what it's about. And they go after the writers. It's very Animaniacs, I guess, from that standpoint.
Absolutely, yes, Animaniacs.
So it's very, very meta. There's levels on levels. There's a character who's just disappeared from the show because he found out about it and hid in like the Jeffries tubes of the ship, and the characters find him, and so they actually end up coming into the real world and have to confront the writers of the show, which is just fun. I appreciate the tongue-in-cheek attitude of it, and analyzing these tropes that we kind of take for granted sometimes in these episodic TV shows.
The three of us never take tropes for granted. We love tropes. We love making fun of tropes.
That we do. That is true.
It's part of our job.
So that's it, John Scalzi. If you don't know, he also wrote Old Man's War, which is kind of his big novel. But Red Shirts did win the Hugo Award for Best Novel in 2013 when it came out.
That's pretty big.
Yeah, it's a good book. It's a good read. So
I'd watch that. That would be a fun movie to watch.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good time. It'd be a somewhat comedic, like Galaxy Quest.
Yeah.
Very meta.
I appreciate that. I like meta.
So, there we go. That's it. That's our lists. What do you guys want to see adapted? Let us know. You can hit us up at Heroes Podcasts on Twitter and Facebook, or heroespodcasts.com. You can find our show on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spreaker, and Blog Talk Radio, as well as anywhere else that you listen to your podcasts. Guys, where can people find you?
I am at Siren Ray on most, if not all, social media, so check me out there.
Buster Props. I was in the chat tonight chatting with some folks, and if you don't want to wait until the episode releases on Twitter, or or to hit us up on Twitter after the episode releases, come and chat with us live. We had several people in chat tonight.
It was fun.
Some more talkative than others.
Yeah,
I'm looking at you, Bruce Wayne 25. Where you been the whole time, buddy?
No, I do appreciate everybody who joined us live. You can join us live Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central at twitch.tv/heroespodcasts. And if you talk to us, we'll talk back to you in chat. Sometimes we'll bring up what you're talking about in the episode and mention it. So please talk to us there. I am the Star Trek Dude on Twitter and Facebook. You can also find me on the Gamer Heroes and Red Shirts and Runabouts podcasts, our video games and Star Trek podcasts, also on the network. Next week,
we are going into uncharted waters for us. So we talked earlier this episode about how the DC movies are breaking our hearts. We are going to rewrite them, with the exception of Wonder Woman, because that was the only movie that all three of us gave a positive review for. We're going to start with Man of Steel, and that's because it's probably the movie out of the four that we're rewriting with the least amount of problems, so we're going to try that.
It's also the first one.
Yeah. But we're really just going to try and fix the problems that we have. So if it's, writing a whole new script for it, if it's recasting roles or, figuring out what else we would do in certain parts, that's what we're going to do. And we'd love for you to join us and kind of help with that creative process.
Yep. So it's a new segment called Let's Rewrite It. We're going to be doing these once in a while. And once we finish up the DCEU, we'll move on to other franchises and categories and things like that. So if you enjoy it, please join us.
I'd suggest Transformers, but that means that I'd have to watch the Transformers.
I don't want to watch them.
Yeah.
No.
So probably not going to do that.
We could do a retro review of the original animated movie from 1987.
Or we could rewrite Turtles 3.
Ooh.
We can rewrite the
time
Turtles.
travel.
Yeah, let's rewrite the Turtles after we're done with the DCEU.
Combat Cold Cuts.
No, that was 2.
I know.
Okay.
She wants to rewrite all the Turtles movies.
Oh, all of them? There's 2 of them that are really good, but that's okay.
There's 1.5 of them.
No,
That's really good.
there's 2. Derek and I will fight you.
Casey Jones straight up murder Shredder.
Yeah, that was awesome and so in character.
All right, that's it for us, guys. We'll be back next week. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.